near side, dangles around the defender, shoots, big blocker save. And now we're going to get some fisticuffs thrown around here. Another episode, another week. We're back with the Blizz Show podcast brought to you by our friends out at H&R Block here in Brookings. So we've had pretty much more than half the team on this podcast at the point, and I'm sure a lot of people have been clamoring for the hometown kid. Well, it's about time. He's finally here. It's Carter Krogman, the hometown kid from Brookings, South Dakota, is here. How do you feel about being on your first podcast, man? Feel good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Is this level of nervousness that's kind of going through? Because Gabe Wall, I could tell, was a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous, but we'll just see how it goes.
You know, you watch podcasts. I'm sure you probably are. You'll get comfortable. I'm pretty certain. Yeah. And plus, you know, these are your people. This is your town. You know, you own this town, man. This is your place. You'll be just fine. So, Brookings, South Dakota. Now, we have a little bit of a common mutual thing with high school hockey because we didn't play against each other, but we played in the same organizations. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But before we get into high school and with the Rangers, so a lot of people are here in Brookings. They know what it's like to grow up here. But from a hockey player's perspective, what was it like growing up in Brookings, South Dakota?
Hockey was never really the focus, to be honest.
Really?
Growing up here, yeah. I was more into baseball. And then varsity coach showed up one year and asked me to play my 8th grade year varsity, and that's when I really got into it. And then I moved away my next year.
So you're telling me you didn't play like through the Pee-wees and the Bantams?
I played. It was just during the season. I didn't play any summer or anything like that.
You scared me for a minute. I'm like, how is this story not been told? Like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that would have been front page of the Brookings Register, people. Come on. So hockey and baseball, like I'm sure there were moments where we crossed paths in baseball because I played for Post 320 back in Rapid City. So what was baseball like here playing in Brookings?
My dad was my coach up through Little League. That was a lot of fun. And then I only played like 2-3 years after Little League, and I was always like the youngest kid on my team, so I don't know. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of good guys. Yeah,
you were the youngest kid on the varsity, I think, when you were playing with the Rangers, so that's been kind of a normal thing for you. Does that ever bother you at all, that you always seem to be the youngest guy, the smallest guy on the team? That doesn't bother you?
Just used to it at this point, yeah. Not a big deal anymore.
Well, you seem to shut up the critics pretty well, I should say. Yeah. So on the ice, you had a really good time playing hockey and everything. You had a good time on the diamond playing baseball. There's not a ton to do here in Brookings, but I will also say it is a great place for a kid to grow up. Growing up in Rapid City, I think they're kind of similar towns in a sense. So kind of away from the rink, and with your mom, your dad, and your brothers you mentioned, what was it like growing up with them in Brookings?
We have a lot of family in town. Like my grandparents, my aunt and uncle both live here. So, I don't know, it's a lot of family, hang out.
Pretty chill?
Yeah, not too much.
It seems pretty chill.
Yeah.
That's the way to live. Have you always wanted to have you envisioned that this is where you'd be, like when you were playing with the Rangers? You're like, man, I'd be playing for the Brookings Blizzard. Was this something you ever envisioned doing when you were here in Brookings?
Maybe like my 8th grade year, I started picturing that, but not up until then. No.
Has it been what you expected? Has it been even better? Has it not been as good? Like, what's your emotion with that?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, I meet a lot of great guys on every team, and it's been a good experience.
So obviously there's not pro hockey here. I mean, the closest team is the Minnesota Wild. I know you're a Wild guy. We'll get to them in a little bit, but there's obviously the Avalanche who are in Denver and stuff like that. You know, you got to go down to Texas, which is pretty far away from here. So you haven't really had a lot of hockey players on the ice to look up to when you were growing up. But maybe is there a Wild player or an Avs player that you kind of were zoned in on? You're like, wow, I want to be kind of like that guy. Was a player you looked up to growing up?
I like Parisi a lot. He's a good player, yeah.
Is there anyone else on the Wild?
I don't know. Stahl scores a bunch of goals. So,
that's pretty good. Now, has it always been forward for you? Have you always been a forward? You've never been a defenseman?
No, never.
Is it because of your size?
I don't know about that. I've always been pretty speedy, so they want me up front. So, yeah.
No wonder you said Marty St. Louis your player comparison. That's a good comparison. That's actually really good. So let's jump to high school. Kind of the elephant in the room between you and I is the Rushmore Thunder and the Brookings Rangers. So I did play 1 year with the Rushmore Thunder. People who understand BISA and understand the Brookings Rangers are going to come at me now and not be very happy with me. But this young kid played for the Brookings Rangers in this very rink his entire career. He's been here at Larson Ice Center. So you made the varsity team when you were in the 8th grade year, but before you get to varsity, you know, Pee-wees, Bantams, was your dad ever a part of the coaching process with those teams?
Not in the Pee-wee Bantams. He would come out when I was younger, but he never coached once we got above like mites, maybe termites.
So you got to 8th grade, you got to the varsity level, you're here, you're ready to take it over, and you come and you do what you're supposed to do. You finish 3rd place your 8th grade year. Kind of describe what that year was like for you, your highlights, your kind of the parts that were disappointing, highlights from that year.
It was a great year. It was probably my favorite year of hockey. We had a great coach, Justin Kirkhavel. He played at Penn State. He played juniors, all that. And we had a good set of seniors. They really brought me in, made me feel comfortable with the team, and it was just a lot of fun.
Was there a team that you didn't necessarily like playing against? And you can say the Rushmore Thunder. I will not be offended.
Yeah, it was probably Rushmore, and Sioux Falls.
Was it because Rushmore was good at the time?
They were decent, yeah. They had a couple of young kids, Mitzel and Nolan.
I remember those guys, Bryce Mitzel and Brooks Mitzel. I'll have to shoot him a text after this and let him know that Carter Krogman was talking trash. Playing with Gabe Wall and Kendrick Frost. You go to the Omaha Lancers, the 16U League, after you play the 8th grade year. And speaking of Kendrick Frost, he's right over there. But so you got to play with those guys at the Omaha Lancers at the 16U club. Just kind of describe what that experience was like for you.
No, that was a lot of fun. Frosty and I were on the same team for 3 years. Ended up becoming pretty good buddies. And then Gabe was only there for a year, but got pretty close with him. And now he's living with me here, so it's good relationships.
Yeah, Gabe was talking a lot about just how much that relationship meant to him to be able to be friends with you at the Omaha Lancers and now be able to come here and live with you, just that comfort that it brought him. So that's really cool for you. You go to the Sioux Falls Stampede. After you aforementioned, you come to the Blizzard here, and then you go to the Stampede for the rest of last year. Now, obviously, Brookings, you've been to Omaha, so you've been out of the state. You haven't been here your whole life. But going to the Stampede, I'm sure you went to a few Stampede games growing up when you were a kid. What was it like to be able to play for an organization like the Sioux Falls Stampede U18?
It was pretty cool. I mean, I used to have my birthday parties at the USHL games, so it was cool to play. Wear the jersey and stuff. Yeah.
Did you ever get to play in the big Swiftel Arena, or not the Sanford Arena, the Danny Sanford Arena?
No, I never did. I went to a camp there, but that was it.
Where did they used to play? What was the name of the old place that they played? You remember? Not the Pentagon, right?
No, it wasn't the Pentagon.
Okay.
I don't remember where it was.
People from Brookings will understand these terms, but apologies for those who do not. Okay, so you come after the Sioux Falls Stampede. You finally come here to the Brookings. We talked a little bit about, you envisioned possibly 8th grade year playing for the Blizzard. Well, it comes to fruition. You're here last year. You're playing in front of your home crowd. You're playing in front of your mom, your dad, everybody that you know here. What was that feeling like when you first stepped onto the ice for your first Blizzard game in front of your friends and family?
It was a little weird being away, spending 4 years away from Brookings, but I don't know, it was a lot of fun, a lot of emotions. It was way cooler than not having them there. So,
what was the highlight of last year for you in a Blizzard uniform?
I didn't play too much last year, so I only had 8 games.
Okay,
I didn't really have a highlight.
In that 8 games, did you feel like you progressed as a player in those 8 games?
Yeah, I thought I did all right. Some places I needed to improve, and then that's what I worked on in AAA that year.
Yep. So this upcoming year, you go to did you go to main camp this year with the Blizzard?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, how was that for you?
It was good. Had a good time. Played pretty well. Ended up with a couple points. I had a couple kids on my team ended up here, a couple D-men, and then Antonucci, the forward.
Yeah, I think it did pretty well for you. Obviously, you're on the team. You're playing in crucial situations and everything. So let's jump to this year. Obviously, the record hasn't been the most fascinating so far, and I can imagine that's going around the locker room and some frustrations. But how is it that you stay so positive when you're losing these games? What's the key to staying positive moving forward?
You just gotta. No one's gonna help you out of it. You gotta work yourself out of it, and that's just where we're at as a team right now. Just trying to work out. Yeah.
Individually, what do you want to do to improve your own individual game this year?
I just want to be harder on the puck, not throw it around. I want to be more calm with it, possess it a little more.
Okay. How do you feel about Mo Manthus sticking you out there on the power play and on the penalty kill? You're in every single situation over the last few games. What's that been like for you?
I've been a PK guy for a long time, so PK is all right for me. And then I haven't been on the power play all that much, but I like it. Obviously that's where you want to be. A lot of playing time, so it's good.
Mm-hmm. So obviously what the city of Brookings is like. You've had a pretty good relationship with the fans with the Rangers and everything like that. But obviously when you walk around town, I'm sure you're recognized. You're the hometown kid. What's that feeling like when fans come up to you and go like, hey, you're the kid that plays for the Blizzard? What's that like for you?
I don't know. It's a little weird because the other boys don't really get recognized all that much. Frosty does, every now and then. But, I don't know. It's a little weird, but it's cool.
Care for a little cameo, Frosty? Yeah. He's like, yeah, what's up? You can come on over if you want. I know this doesn't make for good audio, folks, but here he comes. He doesn't have a headset, but there he is, the Omaha Lancers teammate, Kendrick Frost. Feeling better? Strep throat better? There you go. He says yes. That's good. Nice to hear. So before we get into rapid fire, before you guys know, support for the Blizz Show podcast is brought to you by our friends at H&R Block here in Brookings. Now, the tax reform is going to be affecting everyone's next tax return, so if you don't want to be surprised at tax time next year, you guys got to go visit H&R Block to find out how it's going to affect you and your taxes. So if you're in the Brookings or the Watertown area, what you got to do is go see Wayne Negstead and be sure to tell him that Weston DeWitt sent you for a 25% discount off of your first tax preparation. H&R Block in Brookings is located at the University Mall, and for more information, you can call 605-692-5715. Once again, that's 605-692-5715. Rapid fire time here with the hometown kid, Carter Krogman, and now he has not seen these questions. We are going to ask him. I mean, it doesn't have to be hockey. It can be hockey, cannot be hockey, so we'll see what he has to say. Question number 1, we talked about it. You're a big Minnesota Wild guy. Watched him growing up. Parise, that's your boy. What are your expectations this year for the Minnesota Wild?
You know, I just want them to get deep into the playoffs. You know, they always have a good regular season and then fall apart in the playoffs, so I'm just looking for a good show out of them there.
Does Bruce Boudreau ever get on your nerves, or is he just kind of the guy you look at and go, oh, that's the guy that dropped 20 F-bombs in the HBO documentary series?
Yeah, I don't know. They just don't get it done in the playoffs, so something needs to switch up there.
Why do you think that is? Why do they not get it done in the playoffs? Because I just don't seem to understand. I don't get it. Maybe you can help me out.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Maybe it's Dubnyk. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who knows?
It's not Dubnyk. I know that's not the problem.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. We'll start there. Yeah. We talked a little bit about like best memory playing with the Rangers. You talked about 8th grade year. But aside basically from your whole experience, starting from Pee Wee and Bantam, the first thing that comes to mind, your favorite memory of playing with the Rangers here in Brookings?
It's probably just that whole 8th grade year, to be honest. It was best time, yeah.
Third place in state, right?
Yeah.
Who'd you guys beat in that thing? Do you remember?
Pierre?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we were actually down 4-1 and then came back and won 7-4. So.
Does the name Austin Wagner ring a bell?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy always tortured me. I don't like him. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. If you're watching this, please don't come after me. I'm just giving you a hard time, buddy. Okay, question number 3. Big TV show guy. Favorite binge TV show to watch on Hulu or Netflix?
I like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and The Office.
I forgot who told me Always Sunny in Philly, but The Office. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is that show? 1 to 10?
I give it a 10.
Okay. Should I watch it because I'm looking for a new show?
Yeah, I've seen it over 10 times all the way through. Yeah.
Jeez, all seasons are on Netflix?
Yes.
Done. Writing that down right now because I'm going to forget. I'm a guy who has to write stuff down. Done. That's next road trip TV show. Okay, question number 4. Places. Now, obviously, you've been in Brookings for a long time. I'm sure you want to get out and go to some other places. What is the place you've always dreamed of living somewhere?
I don't know. Like, either coast would be cool. I mean, I liked living in Omaha. I like that city. But, I don't know. Coast, somewhere nice, warm.
Yeah, I will tell you, live in Arizona. I think you'd like that place.
Yeah.
Maybe you should look at Arizona State.
All right, yeah.
That's what I'll put in a good word for you. Arizona State it is. And last question, number 5. So what happened was, folks, if you watched the episode with Gabe Wall, question number 3, it's about to come his way. And I said, I'm going to ask Carter Krogman the same question. And here it comes. Gabe Wall is going to be watching this, and they're going to have a little dispute potentially at the Carter Krogman household. But the biggest quirk or the biggest annoyance of living with Gabe Wall is what?
He takes forever to eat. I feel like I'm sitting there for like 30 minutes after I finish my food just waiting for him to be done.
So what's the longest he's eaten? And you just go, Gabe, hurry the heck up. Come on.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know. It's so long.
Any other eccentricities and fetishes of Gabe Wall that we'd like to expose to the American public?
I think that's it. That's the only thing.
Without getting too crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sweet. All right, that's Carter Krogman, folks, the hometown kid here on the Blizz Show podcast. Now, what we like to do is make sure you guys can go follow these guys on social media, keep up with what they're doing in their own lives. So where can fans, you're a big Instagram guy, where can people follow you on Instagram?
Just Carter Krogman.
Carter Krogman,
and
straight up.
Same thing for Twitter.
Same thing. Oh, Twitter guy. Now we're in the same. Now Twitter. Okay. Yeah. So we have the disagreement with the Rangers, but we're the same on Twitter. You're a Twitter and Instagram guy?
Both.
Okay. Yeah. I'm over Twitter, over Instagram.
Over Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Twitter over Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Wow, we're just not going to come to any kind of reasoning. That happens when Thunder and the Rangers play against each other. It just doesn't work out, folks. Well, that's Carter Krogman, folks. Make sure you guys go follow him on Instagram and Twitter. He does pretty good on his first outing of a podcast. Good job, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
Carter Krogman, Weston DeWitt, Blizz Show Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.